In module 8, we took areas. We took areas, formulas of areas. We found area, guys. Focus with me, please. We found area for parallelograms, triangles, trapezoids, polygons, right? We did formula for these, we did areas for these figures. Now these figures, we call them two-dimensional figures, okay? Two-dimensional figures. Why? Because each figure of them has two dimensions. For example, the parallelogram base and height, the triangle base and height, the rectangle length and width, the trapezoid, the two bases and height, the polygon, the side length and the height of the triangle. So here we have two-dimensional figures, so we found for them areas. That's why we always write on the unit of the area power 2, if you remember. Today we'll take volume of rectangular prisms. Now, what is the prism first? The prism is something like the room you are inside it now. Something like the room you are inside it now, like box. The rectangular prism, like box, like this one. Box, normal box. Now, what's the difference between this box and, for example, the rectangle, which we did the formula of the area, length by width? These are so different between each other. Here, for example, and focus with me to know the difference between the rectangle and the rectangular prism, okay? Now, the rectangular prism has 6 rectangles. 6 rectangles. The roof, the floor, and the 4 sides around. So we have 6 rectangles. But here we have only one rectangle. So what's the difference between them? Here I can put water inside. But here I cannot put water inside rectangle. Here we call it 3-dimensional figure. 3-dimensional figure. But here 2-dimensional figure. Okay? So the difference, it's big one. Here 2-dimensional figure, but here we have a 3-dimensional figure. What are the 2 dimensions for the rectangle? Length and width. What are the 3 dimensions for the rectangular prism? Length and width and height. So we have 3 dimensions here. Here we have 2 dimensions. Now, like, what's the volume? The volume, what's the volume? Now the area, we said it's the area of the surface. What's the volume? The volume is how much things you can put inside the figure. This is, we call it volume. Means if you are sitting in your room now and all have rectangles, okay, all rectangles around, up and down. What's the volume of this room, guys? The volume is how much water we can put inside this room. Means how many space in this room. How much is the space, not how many. How much is the space inside the room? Means if you want to put water inside this rectangular prism, the amount of water to fill the rectangular prism, we call it volume. So the volume and the area are totally different between each other. So we have 2 dimensions, we can find areas. We took that in module 8. Now 3 dimensions, we can find what? Volume and surface area, but we'll take the surface area later. Now let's just remember, guys, what is the difference between, we have 2 main 3 dimensions figure. Let's remember them, please. We have 2 kinds or 2 types of the 3-dimensional figures. prisms, we call them prisms, and pyramids. And if we have students from Egypt here, you know what the meaning of pyramids very well. In Al-Jiza, they have one, not one, I think three. Now, what is the prism? The prism is like the room you are inside in. The prism has two congruent bases, like the room, guys, or the box. It has two congruent bases, the floor and the roof. This we call it prism. Prism. Now, how we name it, we take a look to its base. Base here, it is not the line, no. It is the whole figure and the floor down. What's this base? It's rectangle. What we call it? This one, rectangular prism. But if we have like this one, two triangles, two bases, what we call it? Triangular prism. So we have rectangular prism and the triangular prism. The pyramids, and your friends from Egypt know this very well, something like this. Something like this. It has only one base down and all the sides are triangles. So here we have 4 triangles around it and the base is rectangle. What we call it? Rectangular pyramid. So we have prisms and we have pyramid. Prisms means 2 bases and the sides are all rectangles. Pyramid means one base. And when I say base, I'm not talking about this line like the area. No, I'm talking about the whole figure on the base, the floor of it. It's a three-dimensional figure. Now, how we name it? First of all, we say if it's a prism or pyramid. Then we determine the base. If the base is rectangle, we say rectangular pyramid. If the base is a triangle like this one, look guys, the base here is a triangle. See the triangle on the floor? We call it triangular pyramid. So focus here, please. These are the 2 main figures for the 3-dimensional figures which we will deal with. Let's go back to our lesson now. How we find the volume of rectangular prism. And I said the volume means how much the space inside the rectangular prism. This is what we mean the volume, or it has another word called capacity. Capacity, but we will deal with volume. So what's the volume of the rectangular prism? The volume in general, guys, the volume in general, focus with me here, please. Please. The volume in general for any prism, the volume for any prism, not only this, is base area. When I say base, I'm not talking about line like area, no. I'm talking about the whole base figure down, the floor, I mean. This one, this rectangle. Base area multiply the height of the prism itself. So if the base is rectangle, what's the base area? The area of the rectangle means length multiply width. Length multiply width is the base area. Multiply the height, I will call it h. So the volume of rectangular prism, it's important. This is the formula of it. This is the formula to find the volume of rectangular prism. It's important. So how we find the volume of the rectangular prism? We found the length of it, the width of it, the height of it. This is, we call it the height. Then we multiply them with each other. Like this room, guys, here, look please. Look here. This room, it has 3 dimensions. The length, this line down. The width, this line down. And the height, this line up. See it? So we have length, width, and height. For example, if you want to know the volume of this room, to know how much water you can put in this room, you measure the length, measure the width, measure the height, then multiply the three measures together. So what is the volume of rectangular prism? Equal length multiply width multiply height. For example, let's take example here. Example. If I have this rectangular prism with the three dimensions, the length of it, let's say it is 6 meters. The width, for example, 4 meters. The height, let's say 3 meters. Now this is the length, the width, the height. Length, width, height. How to find the volume of it? The volume, what we call this? We call it rectangular prism. It has 6 rectangles, up, down, and the 4 around. How we find the volume of the rectangular prism? Follow its formula. Length by width by height. So this is equal length multiply width multiply height, which is equals to 6 multiply 4 multiply 3, length by width by height. Normal multiplication. 24 by 3, I don't know, but I know 12 by 6, which is 72. 72 what? In the area, we said square units. We put the area and over 2. But here, cubic, power 3. Power 2 means you are finding area. Power 3 means you are finding volume. Why power 3? Because I use 3 dimensions. In the area, we used length by width, base by height, blah by, so 2 dimensions. So we put power 2 always, but here, m power 3. Power 3 means you are finding volume. In the area, we said m power 2, and we can write it square meter. M power 3 is called cubic meter. Cubic. Cubic means power 3. Square meter means power 2, or any unit, not only meters. So cubic, cubic meter, cubic centimeter, and go on. This is the idea of how to find the volume of the rectangular prism. Simply multiply length by width by height, you get the idea. Any questions? Yes, Badr. So,
Mr. I just don't know how.
Fast يا ابني, faster حبيبي, احكي.
I don't know how to draw like you.
You need to practice.
But Mr. Can you just show me last time how to draw it?
How to draw rectangular prism, guys? You just draw the first rectangle like this.
Okay.
Then you start from the middle of it like this, another rectangle. Then you connect the vertices together. This one with this one with this one with this one.
Okay, thank you.
Omar.
Yes, mister. I have a question.
What?
We have the triangle.
Where's ولا على البورد كله ما فيش triangle.
Yes,
وين؟
the triangle. You said that it is two-dimensional. It is two-dimensional. Yes.
Mr. What? Again, Mr. I don't understand you.
Mister, there is, you make a rectangle, and you said that it is
the rectangle is two-dimensional figure. The rectangle, two-dimensional. It has length and width. But the rectangular prism, it's a three-dimensional length, width, height. What's the
But
problem?
if you make it 3D, like if you make it 3D, it will be 3 dimensional.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, make it a 3D and send it to me. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Do you understand how we find the volume of rectangular prism?
No, I didn't understand so much.
So this is the thing you should ask about, how to find the volume of the rectangular prism. This is the important thing here, okay? Multiply length by width by height. What's the length here?
The 6 multiply
The
4
width.
multiply 4.
4. The height.
3.
Multiply them. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. Abdurrahman.
Yes, miss. I don't have a question
Why you put your hand, Yabni?
because I was going to answer
Answer what?
the example that you will say to us to do.
عبد الحميد.
Me too.
طب remove your hands, both of you.
Okay.
طيب. جاد, read يا جاد. Let's see example 1.
Yes, sister.
Read يا ابني.
Find the volume of
Example
a
1 page
rectangular
what,
prism.
guys? Example 1 page what يا حبيبي?
487.
ها?
487.
487, exactly. Example 1 page 487. يلا read.
Find the volume of a rectangular prism.
يلا.
Many sugar cubes measure 1/4 inch on each side. The
حلو.
box shown is packaged full of sugar
باكيت
cubes.
العصير بتعرفوه الزاكي اللي كنا نشتريه هذا. تعرفوا صح يا جاد؟ يلا. What's the length of it? Hello?
6 inch.
يا زلمه حرام عليك، هذا اللينكس هذا اللينكس تحت اللينكس والويدث يا ابني تحت. What's the length? Hello? وين راح؟ Mr. Jack, talk with me.
3.5.
Mr. Jack, talk with me, حبيبي. Look at this room. See this room? Do you see the room here?
Yes.
Down, length and width. Down. This is the line up, the vertical line here. What we call it? Talk يا جاد. What we call it? يا ابني reply me. لا تضل ساكت. احكي. يا مستر, do you hear me? Mr. Jad. Jundi.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jundi, what we call this line, the vertical line here, what we call it?
Edge.
H. What's the meaning of H in the geometry here?
The ending of
we multiply the length
أيوة
and the width
أيوة
and the height.
بس you say length multiply width multiply what height equal under equal يلا what's the length you said بسرعة quickly يا ابني
3.5. 3.5.
3.5 the width what is it
1.5. 1.5.
1.5 the height what is it
6. 6.
huh 6
6.
do you know how we multiply these numbers
Yes.
يلا what we do with mixed numbers remember
Yes, first we multiply 3 multiply 2. 3 by
plus
2.
1 remember guys we took that
Yes.
in grade 5 turn them to
7
fractions
over 2.
multiply divide whatever the answer will be
7.
the answer will be I'll tell you what the answer will be. Let me just use my calculator. 3.5 multiply 1.5 multiply 6, the answer 31.5. 31.5. 31.5 what? What's the unit for the box? For the box of the juice?
Inch.
What's the unit?
Inch.
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 But in the volume, what we write, يا جاد? Inch.
Cubic.
Cubic. ممتاز. Power 3. Inch.
Yes.
Power 3. So the volume of this small box of juice is 31.5 inch or cubic inch. Inch power 3. This is example 1, page 487.
Yes.
Okay, so to find the volume of rectangular prism, multiply length by width by its height. Any questions, guys? Any questions? In the book, guys, they turned them to 6 mini square cubes, means you need to multiply the answer, but I don't want the idea. I just want you to find the volume of the rectangular prism. Let's see the check. We have check here. If you see down, guys, here at the end, here, guys, if you open the next page, okay, the next page, at the end, what's the answer here? Look, do you see my book?
Yes.
How much?
31.5.
31.5, which is my answer here, 31.5, without doing all of these long steps here. I'm just following the formula. It's easy for you. The check, guys, here, the check. Here we have length is 5.5, width is a 3, height is 15.1. They want from us to find the volume of the prism. Use the formula length by width by height, multiply the 3 numbers, and find the answer. That's all for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Any questions? Mr. Hilal.
No. I want to answer the check.
Okay, the check is we multiply what by what by what, ya Hilal?
Length, width, and height.
Length multiply width multiply height. Do you know how to solve it? You did it, you mean? I did
Yes,
it, right?
I did
Good boy. So tomorrow, guys, inshallah, we'll continue in this lesson. This is the idea only. Tomorrow we'll do more examples and more exercises. Thank you so much. Have a good day.